Hey guys, Buffman Gaming back, bringing you another video for our weapon conversion series, and today we are going to be covering the L22A1 or the 1994 prototype version of the L85 Carbine, however you would like to pronounce it. So in today's video, we're going to be turning the SA87, also known as the L86, into the L22A1 or the 1994 prototype version. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So here is our final design. So what we have here for attachments, let's go ahead and strip this and we'll get back down. This is our base SA87 or the L86. So to turn this into the L22A1 or the 1994 carbine version of this, what we're going to do is start with the barrel. We're going to want that 12.4 inch factory barrel. So what this is going to do is aim down sight speed and movement speed for pros. Cons are going to be the bullet velocity and recoil control, which this being a carbine, it's designed to shoot from the hip mainly, so we're not concerned about those cons as much. Laser, we're going to go ahead and do so ideally we want hip fire accuracy with this. So I think for this one we're going to want the 5 milliwatt laser. It's also going to help us with our sprint to fire speed. This is kind of personal preference. You can really do whichever one you want because they all, minus the tack laser, are going to help your hip fire. So you want either the 5 milliwatt or the 1 milliwatt. So for this one, we're going to go with a 5 milliwatt. OPTIC, we're going to replace that carrying handle with the integral hybrid sight because this is going to give us the closest to the SUSAT sight on this. These rifles came with a makeshift Picatinny rail on these, so you could mount sights being a carbine. They're much more accurate with sights versus the iron sights on these. So we're going to go ahead and do the integral hybrid for the standard SUSAT sights that came with the L85s and the L86s also. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Stock, we're going to skip. We're going to keep the base stock for this. Perk, we're going to skip out as well. Now for the grip, we're going to go ahead and do the stipple grip tape. So this is going to help us with our aim down sight speed and our sprint to fire speed. Con here is going to be aiming stability, which again, being a carbine, this one specifically being designed for hip fire, we're not too worried about that. This is going to be more extremely close ranges is what it's designed for in real life. So for this, we're going to try and outfit it as closely as we can to resemble that. Ammunition, we're going to stay with the standard 30.556 rounds here. So you have a 50 and a 60 round conversion if you would like. But this being a carbine, just the standard 30 round mag is good. Underbarrel, we're going to want the Merc foregrip. This is going to help us with our recoil control and our hip fire accuracy. Obviously, that's what we're going for with this weapon, is that close quarters CQB. So we're going to want the hip fire accuracy, especially with that tack laser. Our cons here are aim walking movement speed as well as aim down sight speed. So we've kind of helped mitigate that in other areas, so that's okay. We can accept that as cons. So this is our final product for the L22A1, which there really never was an A1, but this is the second prototype, which was developed in 1994. So this is the final version. You can see here it keeps that LSW handguard there in the front, and it also keeps a lot of the parts from the L85A1s, which is kind of why it is designated as an L22A1 if we're going to call it anything. So this is the final product here, L22A1. So let's go ahead and get in game now. We're going to look at the recoil patterns and then see how it performs in game against bots. Okay, so now that we're in game, let's take a look at our L22A1. So first I'm going to let this rip and not control the recoil. So you can see it climbs up and to the right there. So now if I control the recoil, you can see we're able to keep it pretty tight there, right? So the one thing we want to know is what's our hip fire accuracy look like, being that this is kind of what this weapon is designed for. So you can see you have a pretty big spread, but for the most part you're going to get some body shots there. So it's not the best at hip fire, is kind of what we want it for, but if we let this rip now and control this, so you can see it's definitely not the most accurate, but you're able to control it pretty well. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and see how it performs in game.
Demon Dog came to play.
Okay, so now that we're in game, we're going to go ahead and see how the L22A1 performs. Ideally at CQB, so we want it at close quarters, being that it is a carbine version. but we can definitely see how this performs in medium range as well. But we do have this tack laser on, so we want to see what the hip fire accuracy looks like also. So definitely probably not a viable option to be hip firing with this. Right? Not the greatest at hip fire, even though that's what it was designed to do. So just some information on this. Again, this was the 1994 prototype version of the L22 carbine, or the L85 carbine. So so really there was no L82A1 because the third model was developed by H&K, and that kind of took the name of the L22A2, as it was developed with a lot of the L85A2 parts and custom carbine parts by H&K, and a lot of the design resembled the 1982 or the 1989 version, excuse me, of the first prototype for this weapon. So you can see it handles okay at close hip fire ranges, and obviously this integral hybrid is the closest thing we can get to a SUSAT. So I would probably recommend using the red dot sight if you're going to use anything.
Cluster strike ready. Reloading.
So not horrible hip fire at close ranges. It'll get the job done. But obviously there's better options out there for you. So you can see that kind of close range, you're kind of okay with it. But you definitely don't want to go outside of that. But that's probably your max hip fire range anyways. So for this being the second prototype of the L85 carbine, we'll designate it the L22A1 for this video. You can see it does adopt the LSW light support weapon handguard here. And it does have a bit of a longer barrel than the 1989 prototype did. So you can see it does perform pretty well. I still think the L85 variant that we did is a better option because this is not going to be accurate at range. You can see there that the recoil with this build is just not very controllable at a long range. But if you're going to do CQB medium ranges, close quarters, it'll get the job done. So again, this was the second prototype for this weapon, and later H&K was contracted. This was 1994, obviously, so H&K came in and contracted in what was later adopted as the actual L22A2 was adopted in 2003. It was brought into service, and that's the standard carbine today that's used by the British Armed Forces. So with that weapon, it's designed for tank crews, helicopter crews, for extreme close quarters combat. So that's really what this is. So unfortunately, we don't have the right barrel to make the actual L22A2. So that's why this is we're calling it the A1 prototype version of this weapon. So definitely performs okay. You can make this work. You can even throw on some custom attachments with it. Really, the key here is the barrel length. Anything other than that, you can do what you want with it. So that barrel length will make it in A1. In real life, the 1994 prototype had a 422 millimeter barrel, which would be slightly longer than this 12-inch barrel that we see here. And this one has the light support weapon handguard from the machine guns. Whereas the one that was developed in 1989 and the final version by H&K does not have those handguards. It just has an extended Picatinny rail underneath of the actual muzzle, and that's where you have a grip on it. So it's a even shorter, compact weapon than what we see here. So hopefully in the future we'll get that barrel attachment in order to make the L22A2, but for now the best we can do is this prototype variant of the weapon. So some other interesting facts, if you saw it in the beginning, so there's an unprotected release for the magazine there, which was a problem, and you could see you could accidentally release the magazine unintentionally, as well as the bolt carrier, the charging handle would also, since this was designed to fire from the hip, would get in the way, and sometimes you would hit it on your arm, which would cause it to jam, and also obviously it's going to hurt when it hits your arm there if you're firing it from the hip. So you had to be very cautious as to how you fired this weapon. That being one of the primary reasons that it was not adopted, along with the fact that it used a lot of the L85 parts and didn't have custom carbine parts for this weapon. So let me know down below if you think this is a viable option for a weapon. Would you use this in game? Again, it's be close quarters only, so you can see it doesn't perform great at range. For that, you'd want the L85 variant that we did in a previous video, so be sure to check that one out. And I'll leave that in the description below. So let me know down below, do you like this build? Is this something you would use or not? Do you prefer the standard SA87 or the L85? We'll also be doing the regular L86 from previous CODs as well in future videos. That one coming up. Also be sure to leave your comments below as to what weapons you want me to build next. So I know you guys have had some great comments, leaving good suggestions. So I'm trying to get through and build those as well. I still have a pretty decent list to get through for these variants. So you guys giving me even more content is great. Uh-oh, we're in trouble now. Also be sure if you're enjoying the content, like and subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps out smaller channels like myself grow. And I know you guys have been doing a great job of that so far. We've grown quite a bit just in the past 2 weeks here. So I thank you all for that. I love the engagement. I love communicating with you guys in the comments. Try and get back to everybody as fast as I can. I try to answer everybody, try to make a point of doing that. So definitely be sure if you have a comment or build you want me to do, just be sure to leave it on the videos and I'll definitely make sure I see it. Jeez. So you can see here at medium range, it actually draws people pretty fast being 5.56 carbine. So it's not horrible. You can even kit this out more so if you wanted to not make this a hip-fire weapon and more of a ADSing speed machine, you could do that as well just based on attachments. With the hip-fire right there, you can see that close to medium range is pretty good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below for this weapon. Be sure to leave your suggestions below as well. And we'll be getting to those in the future. Also, be sure to check out my Twitch page in the description below. I'll be streaming over there as well as here on YouTube going forward. So I'll be doing that mostly on weekends. Try and get a regular schedule established here soon.
All good.
So until next time, I am Buffner Gaming. This is the L22A1 or the 1994 prototype version of the L85 Carbine. And until next time, Buffner Gaming, out.
Solid work. Report back to me for debrief.